Well, this week you have not been able to open a newspaper without seeing someone accusing someone else of colluding with Russia. But just how scary is Russia exactly? Let's find out. Russia. They're dangerous again.
In my view, the greatest threat of any nation on earth.
And you know, that's true, because I read about it in Russia Today. But before we inflate the Russian threat too much, let's remember that Russia is not the country it used to be. For one, the Russian economy is small. With around 1/15 of America's GDP, the Russian economy is about the same size as Spain's or Australia's. In fact, it's even smaller than 3 of America's states. But in terms of GDP per capita, Russia ranks number 61, with a little less than $9,000 per person. That's about 1/6 of America's GDP per person, and ranks behind such economic powerhouses as Turkey, Mauritius and Romania. As an exporter, Russia ranks number 19 in the world, below Switzerland, just nudging out Belgium. And Russia's entire stock exchange, that is every single company combined, is smaller than Microsoft. What's more, Russia's economy is a wreck. Russia relies on oil and gas sales for nearly 50% of its government revenues. In terms of spending, Russia spends 30% of its budget on the military and security services, with only 2.3% going towards healthcare. In fact, around 85,000 rural communities have no medical infrastructure whatsoever. Yet despite how hard it's pushing military spending, Russian defence spending barely edges out Saudi Arabia, and it's still only 1/9 of what America spends. Russian productivity is terrible. They only produce $25 of GDP per hour worked, which is the second lowest in the OECD. Even Greece is 40% more productive. Corruption is endemic. On Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index, Russia scored 29 out of 100, ranking 131st in the world, along with Iran and Kazakhstan, and behind Mexico and Sierra Leone. That's right, Russia is more corrupt than Sierra Leone. And only 10 of Russia's 85 regions are financially stable. Maybe that's why Russia is so poor. 14.6% of the Russian population live below the national poverty line. Not that it's much of a poverty line, because 41% of Russians have difficulty saving enough to buy food and clothes. And things are getting worse. The average monthly wage in Russia dropped 8% last year, and their living standards dropped 14.4% last financial year. But don't worry, because the Economic Ministry predicted that living standards wouldn't improve before 2035. What? Well, at least the rich are doing okay. The top 10% of households in Russia control 89% of the public wealth. Then there's life expectancy, which is 9 years less than America's and declining. The infant mortality rate is 2 to 3 times higher than most of the Western world, and they have the highest alcoholism rate on the planet. Congrats, Russia. No wonder 42% of senior managers want to leave. So what is Russia good at? Well, they've got the most time zones. They're third in the world for mass shootings over the last 50 years. Their bribe market's going gangbusters. Look at this headline. The average Russian bribe has gone up 75%. What kind of country measures that kind of thing? And Russia is clearly a world leader in self-delusion, because even after all that, Putin still has an approval rating of 86%. Oh, and they've got the biggest nuclear warhead arsenal in the world as well. That, of course, is the real threat. But why am I telling you all this? Well, while we watch all the politicking and bickering about Russia, let's just remember Russia is tiny. Russia is weak. Russia is a dump. Russia is not going to defeat America. Only America can defeat America. And they just might.